County View, live and Uncut. I'm your host, where what you see is what you get, and what you don't is better yet. John Arhitis, talking the latest and greatest in Hudson County news. So I haven't talked about it in a few months, but for those of you that subscribe to my newsletter, you know that, and also that just read and watch every day, you know that the Hudson County Democratic Organization civil war is heating up a bit. So quite a few things happened. First, the Hispanic State Parade, and then escalating to Mayor Nick Sacco, of course, of North Bergen, his annual ball over at the Venetian. So, you know, there's quite a bit of minutia to parse through there, so we're going to do that. Also going to talk a little bit about what's going on with the state grand jury that returned a no bill, which means no charges, for a Hudson County Sheriff's officer that was involved in a fatal motorcyclist crash. That was in August of 23. These reviews typically take a long time, as you can tell, but we're going to go over the details there. We also, looks like we may have an update on Hoboken in 2025. We could have a declared mayoral and assembly candidate sooner than later, so we're going to chat a little bit about what that June primary and, you know, that nonpartisan municipal race looks like, respectively. And we're also going to chat a little bit about what's going on at the county on the actual policy level, if you can believe it. They're starting a new LGBTQ plus task force that was seeking 15 members. We're going to tell you how you could get involved if you'd like to participate in that. And today I'm also joined with Hoboken 5th Ward Councilman Phil Cohen. So all that and a whole lot more right after this word from our sponsors.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one pass stop away, or a quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net.
No one plans on heart disease.
Hudson County View, live and Uncut, John Arhitis. So as you guys recall from last week, I wrote about and then I spoke about right in this chair what happened at the Hispanic State Parade with Leroy Truth, a.k.a. Leonard Filipowski. And, you know, it turned out that ended up snowballing into, well, a few other things. So first of all, at an event that, you know, most people wouldn't have even noticed, but Hudson County Board of Commissioners voted to replace Hugo Cabrera, who's of course a North Bergen commissioner, on the County Schools of Technology Board, and it was an 8-to-1 vote. Now, it's a volunteer board, and, you know, as I said in my newsletter this week, yes, it's not Secretary of State or anything crazy like that, but there is a lot of political implications here, and I'm going to do my best to unpack them for you. So it's a 9-member board, and Mr. Cabrera was actually the vice president of the board before his term expired, and he was looking for another term, and that didn't end up happening. So let's look just first what happened on the record. So Commissioner Bob Baz-Solis, who is the commissioner of the 8th District that represents Secaucus and North Bergen, here's what he had to say during the vote. Secaucus is still waiting for a commissioner appointment back as a host community, the High Tech High School. Again, Denise D'Alessandro I know very well. There's no issue in regards to Denise. It's just this is about getting someone back on the board at High Tech and the community that hosts the High Tech High School. We were also hoping to allow for a swap of one of the commissioners. He's, meaning Cabrera, one of the longest serving commissioners, and he's in the education system for another appointee, and that didn't happen. So I just have to vote no for those two reasons. So pretty short and sweet. Now, what is he alluding to? Well, sources familiar with the situation who spoke to me under the condition of anonymity said that they wanted one trustee, Hector Zuleta, to resign, and he could be replaced by whoever the county's choice would be, and that Hugo Cabrera would get appointed for another term. This went up to the top of the ladder in terms of Hudson County Executive Craig Guy, and he said no. And, that was the end of that. And, this is as the tensions between State Senator and Union City Mayor Brian Stack and North Bergen Mayor Nick Sacco continue to escalate. Of course, you could make the argument that, they never really diminished, but that's another story for another day. So his successor, D'Alessandro, is the director of the Hudson County Department of Roads and Public Property, and she's also served as the interim director of the Parks Department. And as far as the caucus, which Vassilis also noted, don't forget the Jersey City Police Officers Benevolent Association President Joe Casalini was appointed to that Schools and Technology Board in January, and he replaced then town attorney Carrie Ann Agledowitz. She was of Secaucus, and she's since gotten a judgeship for the Hudson County Superior Court. Now, we also heard from Hudson County Commissioner Bill O'Day, and he would said, I hope that cooler minds can sit down and resolve things. We don't knee-jerk react when one thing happens and think something else has to happen. And, my belief, and I think pretty much everyone who follows this stuff really closely, knows that he was talking about, the Leroy Truth parade incident, if you will, being linked back to Mayor Sacco. Of course, both Sacco and Filipowski have been quite adamant that they don't interact, they don't have anything to do with each other. Nonetheless, Senator Stack feels the way that he feels, and it doesn't look like that's going to change. Obviously, he thinks this is a North Bergen-based operation. So now, the battle lines are drawn, right? We already know that Sacco, North Bergen, and Hoboken, and West Hudson, Guttenberg, they're with Fulop for governor. Of course, that's the Jersey City mayor. And we know that Stack, Craig Guy, Bayonne Mayor Jimmy Davis, Weehawken Mayor Richard Turner, and West New York Mayor Albio Series. They're with U.S. Representative Josh Gottheimer for governor. He still hasn't declared, but it seems like a foregone conclusion that he will. He's raised over $20 million, and he has a really easy re-election on paper, so obviously he's got something else in mind. So why am I giving you this context? Because at that same day, actually, where the festivities started within minutes after this vote, the mayor's ball in North Bergen, Sacco's annual ball at the Venetian in Garfield, we heard from Mayor Fulop and Mayor Sacco, and they talked a little bit about what's going on and what's happening in 25. So when Fulop took the microphone, he said, I want to point out that in these times where it appears that the county is fragmented, you have the majority of mayors in Hudson County here tonight with Nick Sacco. So joining him was Secaucus Mayor Michael Gonnelly, Guttenberg Mayor Wayne Zitt, East Newark Mayor Dina Grillo, Harrison Mayor James Fife, who I haven't seen in a really long time, it's nice to see him, and Hoboken Mayor Ravi Bala, who all were part of the program. And they all said a few words too. But the bottom line, Fulop re-emphasized the majority of Hudson County stands with Nick Sacco and his leadership. And he continued on that next year is an important one. Of course, you have the governor's primary that he's a part of. On his ticket, you have Hudson County Sheriff Frank Scileri, you have Mayor Zitt, and you also have Assemblyman Julio Marenco, and actually Assemblywoman Jessica Ramirez too, to name a couple that were there. And we'll touch on later, it's widely believed that Hoboken Mayor Ravi Bala is going to be joining Ramirez as her running mate. So, there's a lot going on here, but in broad strokes, Sacco backed Fulop for governor at his ball 2 years ago, about 6 months before he made his candidacy official. That alliance has remained strong. You remember that summer prior to that, the HCDO chair at the time, who was Anthony Veneri, he backed Fulop. And, when Craig Guy took over, I think we already recapped that. So there's a lot going on in 2025, which I've already talked about a little bit, but just to really hammer the point home, in addition to governor, in addition to sheriff, we got those 6 assembly seats in Hudson County. That's districts 31, 32, and 33. You also have the Hoboken mayor's race, Jersey City mayor, and Guttenberg mayor. So has all the makings of being a free-for-all, and right now doesn't look like cooler heads are going to prevail anytime soon. So I would expect to just a slugfest between now and then all the way through. So with that, I'm going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I'll be sitting down with Hoboken 5th Ward Councilman Phil Cohen.
Comprehensive healthcare is here, here, and here. RWJ Barnabas Health is healing, enhancing, and investing in Hudson County with its 2 newest locations, Hoboken and Exchange Place. Within walking distance or accessible by mass transit, our locations combine convenience with primary and specialty care, including cardiology, women's health, orthopedics, cancer care, and more. Let's be healthy together.
Good Friend Self-Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer a Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunnelly Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self-Storage. Let us be your good friend.
Panapinto Properties, Jersey City, shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panapintodevelopment.com. Panapinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Hudson County View live on Uncut. I'm your host, John Arhitis, and as I mentioned a few moments ago, today my guest is Hoboken 5th Ward Councilman Phil Cohen. Councilman, always nice to have you.
Thanks, John.
So I would say, at least as far as the political government spectrum goes, the biggest thing in your ward right now is probably this Western Edge thing. It's been over 3 years now, just a little, but now we got this new lawsuit where Union City's challenging the partial settlements with the developer, and I'm sure that's going to go on for more than a couple months, right? And just when it looked like the light was at the end of the tunnel, I mean, the light kind of gets just stomped out again. So, I mean, I know you're not going to litigate the case, but I don't know, what are your feelings on what's transpired to date?
Well, the city has really tried to work with Union City over the years to try and get it built in a way that was acceptable to our neighbor to the west. And it didn't work out in court. The city really tried. But ultimately, we got advice from our lawyers that this was a case we wanted to settle. And there was a settlement presented to the city council, which was approved. It was clear at our council meetings that the lawyers for Union City were not happy with the settlement and kind of taunted us at the meeting for why we would do this. But the fact is that Union City was not offering to indemnify Hoboken for this lawsuit, and there's a possibility that it could work out badly in a way that could be harmful to Hoboken taxpayers. So City Council and the mayor decided to settle the case. Both the developer and the city really tried to accommodate Union City, but ultimately the courts were not going in the way that we were hoping. So when faced with that possible liability, the city decided to settle it. So this will play out in court, but the city acted. I mean, when you have your state senator pressuring your city, there's many ways that you want to work with your state senator and make sure that things get done. So we really tried in good faith to try and work it out. Unfortunately, it didn't. But the city's got good counsel representing it, and I assume that this case is going to go for a while, as you suggest.
Yeah, probably unfortunate for more than a couple people, but, I guess we're going to see what we see like anything else. Now, one thing that, kind of got lost in the midst of the lawsuit being filed is, one of your colleagues, Second Ward Councilwoman Tiffany Fisher, she had a pretty strong point of view, as she often does, and it basically said, hey, we're in this mess because of Mayor Bala, and there needs to be further investigations, and he shouldn't be involved with the settlement at all. And I know you articulated yourself on this a little bit during the meeting, but just if you could reiterate.
Well, I mean, I think at the council meeting I said that point of view was ridiculous. I think she also asked for the mayor to resign, which he obviously did not do. Councilwoman Fisher has, I think, a very strong personal enmity with the mayor. It's come out in a lot of different ways. She puts the worst possible spin on what the mayor does in a way that I think is not necessarily constructive or helpful. This was one such example. I think you could agree or disagree with whether the settlement's a good idea, but at the end of the day, as our corporation counsel advised, the settlement was being recommended to the city because it was in the best interest of the corporation of the city of Hoboken, and that's why we did it. This idea that the mayor was running unopposed and was trying to seek favor from Union City so that he would run unopposed in 2021 seems absurd to me. I mean, it's like, you know, 5-dimensional chess or something like that. The reality is that if Councilwoman Fisher wanted to run against the mayor in 2021, she could have. She could have pulled petitions like anybody else. If you told me, John, that the mayor would have run for re-election unopposed in politically divided Hoboken, where the politics is never dull and never unopposed, I would have said that's impossible. But that's what happened. So, yeah, I don't know if that's a rundown of how things went down. But
pretty
yeah.
sufficient, yeah. I guess one clerical point, though, like the number of people on the dais, including yourself, said we're on the hooks for, I guess, basically a lot of money, but no one actually quantified that, to my recollection. So could you give us just an idea of why you thought this would have been such a big deal to Hoboken taxpayers?
We were told it was in the tens of millions of dollars of potential exposure. You had a developer who had delayed with respect to construction on a project. The cost of goods, the cost of the project, the cost of carrying the project was significant. So rather than have to bond for a possible adverse result like that, we came to a settlement where there was no money changing hands. There was additional density given, there was additional height given. I did mention at the council meeting that when I was a zoning board commissioner, before I was a councilman, I actually voted in the minority to approve a 13-story project at that location. And at that time, people said that I was too pro-development. Now look what we wound up with, something significantly higher and more dense. So if what I had wanted to be approved in front of the zoning board had been approved, that would have been a much, less dense project for the 5th Ward, which would have been a better outcome.
What year was that approximately?
Around 2015.
Okay.
Yep. So that was something that I think it was narrowly defeated, and I was in the minority on that zoning board vote.
Interesting.
Yeah.
No, that's interesting context. Yeah, well, clearly a lot's happened since then. But we want to get onto some topics that go beyond just the Western Edge, so folks, don't go anywhere. Councilman, stay right there. We'll be right back.
No one plans on heart disease, but everyone should have a plan for it. We help patients of all lifestyles and medical histories plan for healthy hearts. We offer convenient screenings without judgment, hundreds of preventive programs, and women's heart specialists. And we're the largest cardiac surgery program in New Jersey. Make plans for a healthy heart with RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one path stop away, or quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
Hudson County View, live on Uncut. Still John Arhitis, still here with Hoboken 5th Ward Councilman Phil Cohen. I love to talk the electoral rock'em sock'em robots, but first, let's stick with what's in front of us. And in less than a month, you're going to see Hoboken voters go to the polls on this rent control referendum.
Yep.
So you've been very clear that you've been a no for a long time on this, and you've articulated why this is bad for tenants. But seems to me, and I don't live in Hoboken, but I read and watch quite a bit, and it doesn't sound like this is a topic where a lot of people, a lot of voters are getting highly engaged. So be that true or not, I'd like to hear your opinion, but also what are you doing to try to get the vote out of why people should vote no?
Well, for me, it's been kind of a personal thing. It started when someone approached me at 10th and Washington and asked me to sign a petition for affordable housing. when I knew what was going on, and I found that that was a very kind of shady way to get this on the ballot, because it really is about vacancy decontrol and rent control. It's not really about affordable housing. I've been busy getting out the word through all of the platforms that I have. I'm going to be having a coffee with Cohen next week with Cheryl Fallick and the head of New Jersey Tenants statewide organization, Mr. Shapiro, trying to get the word out. I've been going door to door, knocking with my friends in Fox Hill to let them know about the issue. People are clearly focused on the presidential election, and I don't think people are necessarily that excited or interested on this issue, so it really takes some effort to let people know what's going on. But the response that I've gotten to my communications with constituents through my email blasts, through my door knocking, has been very positive, and going to block parties and just getting out the word. So in addition to doing what we're doing through the Democratic Party for the national election, we're actually spending some significant time, including the Hoboken Democratic Party has been working on coordinating on Tenants United issues and getting the word out. So I think it's extremely important for people to vote no. I'm going to be voting no. I've already voted no in my vote by mail ballot.
Well, there you go.
And I'm hoping that, that this gets defeated, because I think it really bodes poorly for the future of affordable and below market housing in the city of Hoboken. I don't think anybody thinks that $2,500 to get out of rent control is a fair exchange or an equitable exchange. There have been discussions among city council members about possible ways to improve our rent control ordinance to make it more equitable for tenants and for landlords. This is not that.
So the Miles Square Taxpayers Association and their supporters, they've said you guys, I'm paraphrasing obviously, but they've said in the past year and a half, the city council and the administration, they've had 2 opportunities to vote on compromises, and both times they blew it. So, what do you say to that mindset?
I would say that the Miles Square Taxpayers Association blew it. If you have a compromise that's acceptable to the administration and to the city council, it would have passed. It's not the fault of the council or the administration that the Miles Square Taxpayers Association failed to come up with a palatable compromise. It's their fault. So, we tried to work with them. We tried to come up with something that would get them to remove this question from the ballot, because the entire city council unanimously voted in July that we should vote no and not oppose this and try and come to a compromise. We had a very small window within which to do that. I think they had like 20 days between the time it got certified and the time it went to the ballot. So in that compressed time, there was a good faith effort. We just didn't get there. But that's not the fault of the council. That's the fault of the Miles Square Taxpayers Association.
We take it. So just in time to jump into 25, at least for a few moments. But look, I've already articulated that I fully believe Councilwoman at Large Emily Jabbour is going to run for mayor, and Mayor Ravi Bala is going to run for state assembly. When those things become official, not exactly sure. But and we also know, Councilwoman Fisher, and we also know Councilman Ramos and Russo, respectively. So what are you thinking about when you're looking at next November?
Well, first let me say that Ravi Bala is the mayor of Hoboken. He ran for Congress, obviously. He won all 6 wards of that election. He is, we have a strong city government. It's up to the mayor to decide if and when he wants to move on to do that. Your reporting may be right, but I do have a good relationship with the mayor. He hasn't told me that this is what he plans to do, and he certainly hasn't told me when. I'm going to Councilwoman Jabbour's event this evening. I'm a co-host and will be speaking there. I don't think that there's going to be any news made at that, other than hopefully she's going to have a successful fundraising event. Her term of office in council ends next year. And as someone who had a successful council race last year, it takes some time and money to do that in Hoboken. So, I'm expecting her to have a very successful event, and hopefully she raises a lot of money.
Simple enough. Probably stupid question, but what the hell. So I assume you're either going to be back in Councilwoman Jabbour or Mayor Bala, whichever one is on the ballot November 25. Fair to say?
That's fair to say.
Okay. Anything else real quick, Councilman?
Nope. Well, one last thing. We're about to build some senior housing in the 5th Ward of Hoboken at 11th and Willow. 36 affordable units. It's the first new affordable housing in 30 years, and I'm really psyched that it's going to be on the street where I live, and we're going to be able to, a lot of people who are priced out of Hoboken and on fixed incomes, who are seniors who've lived their lives in our community, are going to have an opportunity to stay, and I think that's a great thing.
Yeah, I reported on that, but so many things have happened. Just refresh your memory, what's the address and how many units on that?
36 units at the corner of 11th and Willow. It's been a surface parking lot. It was the site of a tragic fire in 1973 where people lost their lives, and it's been 20 some odd parking spots, which is probably the least beneficial use you could have for public land in the city of Hoboken. We negotiated a deal with a affordable housing redeveloper who initially wanted us to sell the land to them for $1 and let them develop it. We decided against that. We kept the ownership of the land. Now they have a 99-year lease. The city keeps the land, and they're going to start construction on new 36 units of affordable housing with senior programming and a senior community room right in the heart of the 5th Ward. So I think that's a really exciting thing for our community.
Yeah, excellent. Congrats on that. Thank you
Thanks,
for
John.
coming in. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us. We're not done yet. We'll be right back.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design studio and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net. Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Comprehensive healthcare is here, here, and here. RWJ Barnabas Health is healing, enhancing, and investing in Hudson County with its 2 newest locations, Hoboken and Exchange Place. Within walking distance or accessible by mass transit, our locations combine convenience with primary and specialty care, including cardiology, women's health, orthopedics, cancer care, and more. Let's be healthy together.
Hudson County View live on Uncut, John Arhitis. So a few other items before we let you guys go. So first of all, talked a little bit about the state grand jury over this incident in Secaucus back from August 2023. So specifically, a state grand jury declined to charge a Hudson County Sheriff's officer over a fatal Secaucus crash involving a motorcyclist last summer. And this announcement came from the New Jersey Attorney General's office. So anytime there is a fatality in New Jersey, I'm sure a lot of you know this, but quickly, there's a fatality in New Jersey. The Office of Public Integrity and Accountability, which is an offshoot of the Attorney General's office, investigates just to make sure that there was no malfeasance, misconduct, etc. So, the deliberations were regarding the death of Ramus Geronimo Segura. He was 28 years old, of North Bergen, and this was an encounter on August 16, 2023. Now, after hearing the testimony and evidence, the grand jury concluded and voted a no bill, which just means no charges issued, concluding that there was no criminality involved in this incident that involved Hudson County Sheriff's Officer Andrew Conti Jr., and he's actually the son of Under Sheriff Andrew Conti. So, we could talk a little bit about the incident. Long story short, Conti observed a motorcycle in the area of Paul Amico Way and Seaview Drive. Again, this is in Secaucus. He followed the motorcycle on County Avenue, traveling northbound with his lights and sirens activated in an attempt to effectuate a motor vehicle stop. He caught up with the motorcyclist, again, Geronimo Segura was his name. He got behind a tractor trailer. The motorcycle passed the truck on the right side. Skipping ahead a little bit, eventually there was an accident. And at that point, Conti continued without his lights or sirens, observed the crash scene and called for help. Segura was ejected from the motorcycle. Of course, almost always happens when there's a motorcycle accident. Jersey City Medical Center performed life-saving efforts. Unfortunately, they were unsuccessful. And this was the first day the video recording was released. That was on Thursday of last week. And if you look on my Twitter or the Hudson County View Instagram, you could watch the video. It is a bit graphic, but it's redacted, so I mean, nothing too crazy. So that's that. We're also going to just go into a couple other county issues on a much lighter side, actually. So as I mentioned at the top of the program, Hudson County is now seeking 15 members for their first ever LGBTQ plus task force. Of note, no elected or appointed officials will be considered, nor will any Hudson County employees be considered. So this is going to be more of an autonomous task force than we've typically used to seeing around here, assuming that everything goes according to plan. And we heard from Hudson County Executive Craig Guy. He said, "We are home to the largest LGBTQ plus community in New Jersey. We're fortunate to be the home of organizations leading the political fight, providing social services for the queer community. I look forward to the task force efforts so Hudson County can more effectively address the diverse concerns of its LGBTQ plus communities and better foster an inclusive, safe, and equitable environment for individuals of all sexual orientations and gender identities." And then also talking about the county and Craig Guy, we have these Vision Zero meetings. Of course, Vision Zero's gotten a lot of traction in the past, 6, 7, maybe even 8 years. And of course, this is about pedestrian and roadway safety. And he had one virtual meeting that was held last night. And there's 3 coming up in person, one in Harrison, one in Union City, and one in Bayonne. So if you're interested in bike lanes, where they should go, where they shouldn't go, street parking, bollards, things of this nature, these are the kind of meetings that you want to attend and input your feedback. So I'm not going to get into too much more other than that, but I just want to let you guys know that there's a meeting today between 4:30 and 6:30. That's the Harrison Recreation and Community Center. That address is 401 Warren Street. And then on Thursday from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m., that's Hudson County Community College's North Campus, 4800 JFK Boulevard in Union City. And the 4th and final meeting will be on Thursday, October 24th, so not tomorrow, but 8 days from now at the Woodrow Wilson Community School, and that's 101 West 56th Street. That'll be between 6:30 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. Now note that if you want to attend in person, there is a registration form you have to fill out online. It should take you 60 seconds at the most. It's very simple, name, address, email, and that is included in our story. Finally, very quickly, the Hoboken City Council meeting 1 week ago approved a new redevelopment zone at the transit hub in the first ward, and it was a narrow 5-4 vote. That's over by the Path Station and Bus Terminal at Hudson Place and River Street. And really short on time here, so I'll just ask you guys to read it yourself. But the vote was 5-4 with Councilman Cohen, who of course just joined us, Councilwoman Jabor, Councilman Quintero, Councilman Ramos, and Councilman Russo voting yes, while Council members Doyle, Fisher, Prezanzato, and Giattino voted no. With that, folks, we're going to call it a week. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.